I read and studied every single one of Alex Hormozi's $100 million playbooks that cost me more than $6,000. And in this video, what I'm doing is I'm putting together a complete summary of every single one of these books. I'm breaking out the 3 to 5 core ideas and frameworks that Hormozi puts inside here so that you just need to watch this one video and you can change how you run your business and you can implement them immediately. So, pro tip, watch this at 1.5x speed for extra gains. The first book I want to talk about is the $100 million Fast Cash Playbook, where he talks about how to create limited time offers to advertise them to your warmest audiences. Now, this is something that I have run multiple times and generated $120,000. There is also another instance where I generated almost $400,000, and I did that twice for a client. So this stuff works. This was not to a cold audience. It was to a list of existing customers. So it's important that you do this type of fast cash play to an existing customer base, or at least past customers, or at the very least engaged leads, right? So what do you sell them? You sell them the most scarce, premium, unscalable thing that you can. So think white glove, done for you, done with you, 100x, 10x your existing price. It's not taking your existing core offer and slashing the price down. It's taking your existing offer and adding so much value to it that you're able to charge a high ticket price. And it shouldn't be something that you can normally do at scale, which makes it feel more special, and that's the idea. So examples, coaching. If you only have 10 spots for a private weekend intensive, or an agency done for you ads build that this month only, and you only have 5 slots, and usually you don't offer something like that. Or a VIP box of a personalized bundle, signed limited edition, those sorts of things, right? And so I did this here, and we sold $120,000 in just a few days, in 5 days, to an existing list. I built the funnel. I was in the VSLs. I wrote the VSL in the VSL, edited the VSL, built all the funnels, wrote all the emails, and in 10 emails generated $120,000 from an existing list of customers. It actually caused this company to be able to exit for multiple 7 figures, because they broke through a plateau that month. So super powerful stuff. Now, what do you charge? A lot. Think 10, 50, 100x your transaction value. Again, you're not offering discounts. You're putting all the value together, and then you are setting the total value here, and then you're discounting it down to here, but it's still like 50x your existing transaction value. And you need to be able to justify the insane amount of value. And that's exactly what Hormozi did here. Like, he charged $6,000 for this. And like, the amount of value I've gathered from just like one of these books has been worth 10 times, like literally 10 times what I paid. And so the value was really easy for me to understand. And then he added all the bonuses. So how many to sell? Well, keep it small, cap the seats, and create like a sellout effect. So this is, again, what Hormozi did. There are only X amount of these available. How do you sell it? Well, you can either do a high ticket sold via consulting calls over the phone or over Zoom. This works really great for high ticket offers. Or you can open up a cart, and this works really well for low to mid ticket offers. So when he did his $100 million leads launch, I think the average ticket was like $350. Even when he did this, he didn't do it over a sales call. He did it through a checkout process because the webinar was 4 hours long. Now, that is the fast cash play, and you can generate hundreds of millions of dollars as he did. Because if you think about it, the fast cash play was really just what Hormozi did on his Money Models launch. He had built all of the existing customers and the existing warm audience together, and then he gave them a ridiculous amount of value for 1,000 times what he usually charges. Now, the goated ads playbook that you've got here has had a lot of flack recently because his meet, hook, and CTA formula is now completely redundant. However, the most important, with the Andromeda update, however, the most important thing to take away from this is the levels of awareness that he talks about. So you have 5 different levels of awareness. This is not something Hormozi came up with. This is something that is in the Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. I've just got it on my bookshelf behind me, so I'm reading it, where he talks about the different levels of awareness. And so the reason that your ads are not converting is because you are creating a ad for a different level of awareness than which the ad is being served. And the most profitable audiences are the most aware. So they know that they have a problem. They know that a solution exists. They know that your product is one of those solutions, and they are ready to take action. They just usually need a discount or a reason to take that action. And in contrast, like, okay, so I know you, I love you, and I want to buy. In contrast, they've never heard of you or this problem that you're telling them exists. So you need to convince them first that they have a problem. Then you need to show them that there is a solution. And then you need to show them that your product is the solution, and then you get them to buy. And so it's a lot longer of a sales cycle. And so one of my clients, I wrote them an ad that did 18 million views on YouTube, and it was one of the most profitable ads for that month on YouTube. And the reason was that they were running most aware ads to an audience that was just problem aware. So what I did was I created an ad that walked these people down this awareness pyramid until they purchased. And so it's really not rocket science, guys, but this is by far the most powerful thing that you can learn. And so based on the awareness levels inside here, Hormozi talks about, and so you can see here, he's talking about the awareness pyramid. Based on the awareness levels inside here, Hormozi talks about the different types of ads that work for each bucket of awareness. So you've got unaware people. They need to see curiosity-driven hooks. So for example, the hidden ingredient inside your dog food that's making 1 in 5 dogs sick. Or if you have a problem-aware audience, the hook that you need is a pain-driven hook. So tired of wondering where your next customer is going to come from every single month. Or people who are solution-aware, they need a promise-driven hook. Launch a profitable, high-ticket offer in 2 weeks with our proven Black Tiger strategy. Or if they are product-aware, so this is that they know that the solution exists and they know that your product exists. See why 400 founders chose Dopamine Digital to scale their business profitably last month. And then the most aware, they just need an offer. So click the button now to get 50% off the private school group, for example. And Hormozi talks about the meat, i.e. the creative, and then he talks about 5 different ad types. And so now with Andromeda, you need more than 5 different ones, but this is a really good place to start. So you need demonstration ads, like show the product in action. And you can have testimonial ads, which is literally just people in a UGC-style ugly setting with terrible lighting on a phone talking about their experience. And all these other people sell for you, which is super powerful. Then you've got education-type videos. You teach something useful. So Hormozi has a whole bunch of just like literal whiteboard videos. And this is like really, really popular because you can teach for a long period of time and you can present like an authority. So they work really well. Then you've got narrative story-driven ads, founder stories, brand stories, lifestyle comedy stories. And then faceless ads, which help you scale and exit the business. And so those are all the different types of ads. And then you can have a simple and clear call to action at the end of your ad. Please spell it out. Click this button, call this number, scan this QR code. Many ads don't do this. Your audience does not know what to do. Hormozi even talks about how one of the ads he was doing wasn't converting, and they just added this 5-second click now, and he just pointed at the thing for 5 seconds, and giving your audience enough time to digest everything that they've just taken in and actually get them to take an action is also another massive hack. Like, don't just end the ad by saying, click the button now, see you later. Give them 5 seconds. Otherwise, they'll just keep scrolling, right? Okay, the next one we're going to talk about, and we're going to power through these, are branding. So branding is far more powerful than advertising. And if you do them together, you go to the moon. it's not the same, right? So advertising is telling people you're great, and branding is others saying that you are great, and it's the feeling that they get when they think about your thing, and they think about the feeling that they get. The connection of that is branding. So terrorists have a bad brand, and good friends have a really good brand. And so if you can think about it like on a spectrum of influence, either you are moving them towards something good or away from that thing. And so how much influence you have is important here. So here is like the spectrum for you to have a look at. Now, Hormozi talks about a 4-step framework inside the branding playbook, because you don't need to build a brand necessarily. And he talks about other things in here, but this is the thing that I think is the most important. So figure out who your ideal customer is, identify their pain points, their buying power. Are they easy to target? Are they growing? Figure out what they want. Do they want more money, more offers, more customers, more scalability? And associate your stuff with those things. And so, you already inherently understand this already, but it's important to break it down, because while you can't sponsor the Louis Vuitton fashion show, you can do other things. You can't collab with Louis Vuitton, but you can collab with the guy on YouTube who's got a couple thousand subscribers who makes business content every day. And brands do reach out to me, and I haven't shilled a single one of them except the ones that I'm personally involved in. Now, after that, you optimize the associations for max profit. So once the brand is working, adjust your positioning so you can earn more without losing your core audience. This is where you decide to either go up market, you move towards fewer customers who pay more, down market, so you offer a cheaper app with daily workouts, for example. You go adjacent, so you keep the same core audience but expand into related needs. You go broader, so you move towards a larger audience by loosening constraints, or you go narrower and you reduce the scope to dominate a specific niche and a vertical. So that's kind of like the most important things to learn about branding. And just as a quick bonus, what I would suggest is that you think about branding like this. So on the outside, it's what we say. On the inside, it's what others say. And on the very inside, it's what they experience. And so the most influence is here in this middle of this circle. So think about branding like that. Next, we have hooks. Hormozi talks about the 7 different categories of hooks. You've got statement hooks, you've got command hooks, question hooks, exclamation or pattern interrupt hooks, list hooks, and story hooks, and conditional hooks. So I break down all of the best hooks of all time inside this video here. I suggest you watch that if you want a comprehensive overview of how to create these hooks, why they're important, and a whole bunch of examples. But this is how he tests hooks. And so even though Andromeda exists, and yes, you shouldn't be doing hook meet CTA, you still need a good hook. You still need a good hook for your ads, for your videos, for every piece of content that you put out. It needs to hook. Even your emails, they need a hook. So he goes through a 70-20-10 rule of innovation. So his 70% are proven winners of his or his competitors, and he just reuses and repackages them. And then he riffs on what's working in adjacent niches for 20% of it, and then for 10% he does wild, crazy experiments. So he one of the hooks he uses is, you might be wondering why I just caught this banana. It's got nothing to do with anything, but it's wild as hell and it works. Next, we have closing, which is one of the thickest books here, and I think one of the most comprehensive. And one of the things I have learned the most from Hormozi is how he handles sales calls and how he closes people over the phone. And let's think about it like this, because you're not trying to convince them to buy, you're helping them to help themselves. So they need to convince themselves. And unfortunately, people do not say no directly. Instead, they'll give a whole bunch of bollocks about why they can't buy something. And there's 3 different types of blame. The onion of blame. as Hormozi calls it. So, well, you've got circumstances. So things like time, money, or fit are things that people blame. They've got other people. So either they don't have the authority, they need to speak to somebody else, or they've got skepticism, or they blame themselves. So it works for others, but it won't work for me. Send me a proposal, I'll look at it, and they avoid, so they can't make a decision. Before every reply, you can say things like, I understand, totally get it. That's a great point. If you handle these objections, sometimes they're not the real core objection. And so what I like to do is to try to peel back the layers of the onion. And when I do find a real objection, you can use these all-purpose answers. So main concern close. So what's your main concern here? What are you afraid of happening? The reason close. The very reason you're saying no is the reason that you should do it. The hypothetical close. If this were perfect, would you do it? Then what's the difference between perfect and what we've got? The zoom out close. So you want goal. We sell goal. Isn't over-analyzing details why you haven't hit it yet. And the 1 to 10 close. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible, 10 being perfect. Where are you right now? What would it take to get you to 10? Best case, worst case. So the best case is we achieve this. The worst case is you don't get what you want, but you are closer to your goal. And also we have a guarantee in place, which guarantees that at least this is the result, which is significantly better than where you are now. So that's the worst case. The best case is up here, but let's say worst case. And then you paint the worst case. So objections are fear. It's not logic. You need to peel the onion back and ask better questions and reframe instead of arguing. You will not argue somebody into giving you thousands of dollars, and you let the prospects convince themselves. So I can't go over every single objection because it's so juicy in here, and I just want to pick out the most useful, actionable things. But I broke all of them down inside of this video, so make sure you check that bad boy out. The next one we are going over is, boom, retention. So if you have a sales machine that brings you in a bajillion leads and they all turn into customers, but then every day a bajillion and one people leave your business, you don't have a business. You've just got a bucket with a whole bunch of holes. So at 15% churn, 83% of your customers are going to be gone in 1 year. So if we think, all right, how do we make people leave? Well, we ignore them, we break promises, we miscommunicate, we treat them bad, we set ultra-realistic, unrealistic expectations, we isolate them, and we increase the effort required. So really, how to decrease churn is just to invert all of these things. Funny that. So some practical things that you can actually do is look for activation points inside of the thing. Hormozi talks about school users with at least 3 members in their school. They stick longer. Okay, so then how can we get people to get 3 members in their group as quickly as possible? I know that people who have their first win or their first recorded podcast session or call within the first 3 weeks are more likely to be satisfied with the results. So how can we get them that as quickly as possible? Or how can we get their first case study recorded as quickly as possible? Onboard every customer. If you sell high ticket, do one-on-ones, set expectation, and this reduces churn very, very early. And if you're a busy, big shot and you can't do them all yourself, then at least get somebody competent to walk them through the onboarding. Incentivize activation milestones. So if they finish module 5 of a course, give them a certificate. Give them some kind of recognition as well. Create community and events. So lively feeds, live calls, members bond. There's less churn because they feel like they're part of a family. Fire or correct bad customers fast. So get rid of paying customers who treat you with disrespect or who are a nightmare to deal with, because one bad apple spoils the barrel, and typically the loudest one is somebody that goes into the other barrel and tries to destroy that as well. You will see all this weird, disgusting infighting oftentimes. offer an annual pricing, $1,000 annual SaaS plan versus a $99 month plan. If you have somebody that pays for the full year, the chances of them churning is next to zero over the year. If you have somebody for $99 a month, then obviously every month they have to like subconsciously make the decision, is this worth it again? And also, even with high ticket services, I have been offering a significant discount for paying in full upfront, because I don't want to have a conversation with the client every month where I send them an invoice and then they need to make a decision. Did I get X amount of value from Jordan this month? Because sometimes I will deliver hundreds of thousands of dollars of value in generated cash in hand value for clients. And then 3 months later, I'll send them an invoice for work that I've done in that month. And they'll go, 2 months ago, Jordan generated me $100,000 in cash. This month, he didn't generate me $100,000 in cash. Therefore, the previous month was more valuable than this month. Therefore, is this justified? And that kind of logic is just so backwards that by doing this, you remove that. Next, you can run regular surveys. So how likely are they to refer us? And then take them through a 4-step journey. Onboard them, activate them, retain them, ascend them. Always have a next thing that you can push them to. Okay, 6 more playbooks to go, guys. Marketing Machine, which is one of the most powerful books that I have read, because what it did was it talked about the machine that Hormozi implemented into his business so that he was able to create hundreds of pieces of content without doing anything extra. So the formula goes like this. You capture everything that happens in your business. You clip up moments of transformation, emotional proof. You categorize into before, during, and after, and then you convert them into ads, posts, and email content. So the core nodes of the marketing machine, you've got lifestyle content, you've got social and community scraping posts where you screenshot things inside your private Slack or inside your private Facebook or inside your school group, and you add them to a folder for later. So you can just run these as ads. Like, look how powerful that is. It's unequivocally real. You could make this in Photoshop, but when it's a screenshot, it looks significantly less likely to be fake. You've got delivery moments. So capture reactions at the moment of value. First wins, unboxings, result calls, competitions. So run competitions, let people compete, and get testimonials here. Like, this is genius. This the idea of giving away 2 Comma Club awards, because you're like, look at all these people who have come before you and done this. You can do the same. And then events and milestones, they may look like an expensive thing to do on the front, but what it means is that you can get everybody together, you can ascend all these people into the next tier, and you can record all this content that can be used as ads and other things that retain people and ascend them. So it's a brilliant, brilliant machine. Do not overlook the marketing machine. Proof checklist is how to get strangers to believe you instantly. So the more proof the reason people are not purchasing from you right now, even though you're making ridiculous claims, is that people do not believe you. If we lived in a perfect world where lying was impossible and everything that you said was 100% trusted by everybody, it would be a very different world. But the reason that people are not buying from you is because they do not believe that you can make it work for them, or that you can make it work, period. So the more proof angles you hit, the faster trust will compound. So think about it like this. In-person proof is better than virtual proof. If you can get people at an event on stage, they believe it more. Live is better than recorded. So people know it's recorded and they can be edited. So raw, uncut is better. Raw is better than processed. So shaky iPhone footage is actually better than a Hollywood commercial. Showing is better than telling. So this video here just says 0 things and walks through the gym and shows how it's completely packed. and you count all the people in there, and you go, each one of these people is $500. Oh my God, do that for me. Other people saying it is more powerful than you saying it. People who are identical to them achieving the result is more powerful than the opposite of them. So if you're a 25-year-old white suburban housewife, seeing another 25-year-old white suburban housewife achieve the dream outcome is more powerful than seeing somebody that you've never seen before with a different skin color, with a different ethnicity, at a different age, and a different background. Specific is much better than generic. So somebody that lost 17.5 pounds in 6 weeks is more powerful than I lost some weight. Specificity equals believability. And then big results are better than small results, are better than no results, obviously. So I talk about a $4 million sales funnel here that did really well, and people loved it. And newer proof is better than older proof. So stuff that happened a day ago is more powerful than something that happened 5 years ago, because the world moves on. So more proof is obviously better than less proof, and this is from his marketing machine, and this is just screenshots that look super organic. And even though it's technically capable of being faked, you don't think about it for a second when you see this. It looks real. Third-party verification is better than zero verification. So he had somebody come to his live event who didn't have a vested interest in him winning and say, yes, Alex, you did break the world record. It's way more powerful than Alex saying it himself. And then proof with numbers is better than without numbers. Here you go. Here's another example. And then metaphors are better than technical jargon. So it should feel illegal to grow your business this fast. Those are the things that Hormozi talks about as moving the needle around proof. And again, it's one of the most powerful things that you can do is provide an irresistible wall of proof. It almost makes everything else redundant. Because if people believed completely that you could get them the result, the only decision that they would need to make is how can they get the money, and is the outcome worth the amount of money that they're paying you? And if the answer to those is both yes, they will pay it every day. Okay, home stretch, price raise. Many of you guys are afraid of charging high prices. And even more of you are afraid of increasing your prices. And if people who have been your customer for 3 years have paid you the same amount of money every single month for 3 years, I have bad news for you. You need to increase your prices, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and some of them will leave. But you will work less, make more money, and have better results. So think about it like this. You have two options, really. You either decrease your prices or you increase the prices. And so if you decrease the prices, you also decrease the emotional investment, the perceived value, the results, the demand, and the revenue for fulfillment per customer. So the profit in your business goes down, your perceived value of self goes down, your perception of impact goes down, your service level goes down, and your sales team's conviction goes down. All of that is inverted if you increase the price. I was thinking the other day, actually, that I want to buy a thing for my girlfriend, and I don't want to spend a low amount of money. I want to spend a high amount of money because the perceived value is higher. And so I want to spend more money on things because I want the best. So it equals higher profit, better service, and more premium clients. So rules before you raise. Don't do lifetime deals. On occasion they work, but most of the time you're shooting yourself in the foot. Always test the waters first and raise prices at least once per year. So for big jumps, meet with people in person on a Zoom or in person. Don't just send them an email. Don't apologize, and anchor with value. So this is Hormozi's raise framework from the book here, where he talks about RAISE, raise. First, remind them of the value that they've gotten over the last X months. A, address the price change directly. Don't beat around the bush. I is invest in their future. So all of this money is going towards these new features, improve support, blah, blah, blah. And then S is to soften the news with a loyalty discount. So a lot of the times you can say you've been a client for X years, so instead of increasing it 50%, we're increasing it just 25%, or flexible payment plans or whatever, and then explain away their concerns. Here, Hormozi talks about the perfect letter. So screenshot this and go through it and fill it out for yourself. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be putting all of this inside the free school group here with more than 5,000 almost 5,000 members in it. And so it'll be inside the classroom here, and it'll also be pinned depending when you're seeing this here. And you can see that we do crazy stuff in here. Like the other day, we gave away 10 free headshots where you can just come in, clone your face, change your LinkedIn profile. I ask you guys what kind of content you want. I post stuff here first. There are all the SOPs and all of the stuff broken down and organized nicely for you, so that a lot of this has all the Miro boards attached. So if you're ever looking for any Miro boards that I have talked about or gone over, they are always in the Dopamine Digital School Group first. And it is completely free. There is no catch to joining this. I will try and sell you my private paid school group here, but this is just for a handful of people who are ready to take action with me on a weekly basis. It's probably not for you. So screenshot this or go into the free school group. I'll leave that link below. Now, let's move on to one of my favorite playbooks, which is lifetime value. Because really, business is just an equation of cost to acquire that customer versus a lifetime value of having that customer in your business. So think about it like lifetime value is lifetime gross profit, not revenue. So how do you calculate LTV? The direct cost to deliver the thing is your selling price. And then that's your gross profit. So how many purchases over time? So the average number of purchases minus the churn is the number of purchases over time. And then step 3 is lifetime gross profit equals gross profit per purchase times average number of purchases. And then the recurring amount of that is divided by churn. So the crazy 8 ways to increase lifetime. Like I actually have a video on, it's not here, but I have a video breaking down how to actually calculate this in excruciating detail. So maybe this doesn't make a ton of sense. But I have I think it's a 20-minute video breaking down how to calculate lifetime value if you are not running ads, because the ads tracking does everything super easy for you. But if you're running a service-based business and you run cold email or cold outbound, then you need to calculate this number. Now, the crazy 8 ways that Hormozi talks about increasing the lifetime value inside here is increase prices, decrease the cost to deliver, increase the number of purchases, cross-sell something different, sell more at once, so sell double or triple the thing, sell a better version, or downsell quantity. So instead of losing the sale, downsell them something, and downsell the quantity or downsell the quality. So cost of acquiring a customer can only go to 0. Lifetime value has no ceiling. So that's the good news. Now, the second to last playbook here, lead nurture. The fortune isn't getting more leads. It's not wasting the ones you already have. If I look at people's pipeline, what I find is that most of the time people have so much money sitting in that pipeline, they just don't know how to go in there and mine for it. And all they do is wait for people to put their hands up and say, I'm ready to purchase, please take my order, which does not equal a very powerful, profitable business. So the 4 pillars of lead nurture. Number 1 is be available. Be reachable when they're ready, because you can't predict when that'll be. So have a maximum calendar spots for free. Have them free. Speed. So compress the time from hand raise to first contact. Ideally, it should be within the first 60 seconds. if you can do that. If not, within the first hour, and if not, at least on the same day. I spoke to some guy the other day who waits 10 days. 10 to contact his leads. Unbelievable. Wondering why it doesn't make money. Pillar number 3 is personalization. So make the interaction feel built for them so they show up. Here's how another fitness coach added $15K a month using the same method will show you. That's the thing you send them. So you check the email, want to make sure you got it, like send them DMs, make sure that they actually show up to the sales call. And then volume negates luck. So volume, more touches, get more points of contact, email them, DM them, text them, LinkedIn message, Twitter, whatever it takes, volume. And then finally, the pricing playbook, which is the thickest boy from the lot, probably alongside of the closing book. And this is instant ways to make more profit in any business. So Hormozi talks about people do not buy based on price. They buy based on perceived value relative to alternatives. So you've got 3 pricing models. Just pick one. And I suggest you pick value-based pricing because it's the only thing that scales. Like you can charge based on your cost plus a margin, but it's what I find is that it's a never-ending spiral down to zero. And then the same thing goes for competitor-based pricing. You look at what other people are charging, you charge slightly less, but then they look at what you're charging, and it's just a Value-based pricing is the only scalable model. Please just pick this one. It depends on the outcome, the speed, and the certainty. So if you increase those, you're going to have a very happy chappy customer, and you're going to be able to increase the price. Think about like you're trying to increase the lifetime profit, not the sales. You don't want to have the highest conversion. You don't want to have the most customers at the lowest price. You want to have the highest lifetime gross profit per customer, which is why the lifetime value playbook is so valuable. Now, if you could only double one thing, would it be new customers? Like if you're getting 10 new customers every month, would you prefer to get 20 new customers? If you're getting 10 new purchases every month, would you prefer to get 20 purchases every month? Or if people are paying you $100, would you rather be able to double the price to $200? The answer is that the price is the most important thing, because if you run the math, what this means is if you double the price, you're able to have fewer customers at higher prices, which means more profit. So you have less people to deliver to, less complex purchases, and the same amount of money or double. And so when you run the math and you logically work backwards, raising the price is the easiest and the most profitable way, according to the math, to make more money in your business. So longer billing cycles reduce churn, separate one-time value from recurring value, and test pricing more often than anything else. And that, my friends, is the pricing playbook in a nutshell. So that was a monster of a video, a almost 40-minute video where I broke down all of these playbooks, all 12 of them. This cost me $6,000, and going through all of these are the only things, or these are the most important things that you guys need to know. If you don't want to go through all of these yourself and you don't know how to implement all of this stuff, look, here's what I would suggest that you do. This is completely free. Go to my website. I'll leave it linked down below as well, and click this button. I will give you a free growth plan delivered to you in 72 hours. You can look at some of the success stories we've had where we've implemented these frameworks into other people's businesses. See if any of this resonates with you. Probably, if you're like anybody else that I speak to, the reason you can't scale your business is because you are stuck in founder-led sales. You don't have a predictable pipeline filling up every single month of qualified leads, And it's incredibly frustrating and hard to grow a business like that. But you can't afford to bring in a Hormozi team and outlay $100,000 to build the team for you. So we come in and we do it at a fraction of the cost of that. We guarantee the results, and we are unbelievably good. Go to the website and have a look at some of the things that people have said about us. So if that sounds at all interesting and you want to remove yourself from the growth of the business so that you can actually focus on growing the business instead of working in the business, then this is an offer for you. Go to dopaminedigital.io, click that button, fill out this form. It takes 5 minutes. I will put together a free growth plan for you without getting on a sales call, so you're not pressured to be sold anything. My job is to provide you with so much value that you go, oh my God, this is the guy I want to work with. And then you choose to work with us. So if that sounds interesting, go there, fill it out. Worst case, you get a 12-month growth plan that is tailored to your business, where I break down all your funnels and I show you how we would be able to take you from where you are now to where you want to go if we were to teleport into your business tomorrow. So if that sounds good, click the button down below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. This took me a very long time, and now I have no voice left. Okay, peace. Subscribe.